So recently, the Mass Effect Legendary Edition had some screenshots released, and I'm not used to doing these kind of videos, but I thought I'd do an unscripted video just because it was interesting to say the least. So the first thing I noticed about the Legendary Collector's Cache, however it's called now, because apparently calling things Collector's Editions is just old hat nowadays. You got to call it like the Collector's Cache or the Diamond Basket Legendary Edition Season 2. Orange rarity box. And all the promotional images, it shows it with a helmet and a steel case and some pins and stuff. And you think, wow, that's I suppose that's okay for £150. But then $150, I guess, if you're American. But then you look into the tiniest little disclaimer at the bottom that says does not include the actual game. Now, I know that they've been releasing box sets like this nowadays where you don't get the game, which is stupid in itself. I wouldn't mind it if it was like a collector's edition for merch. But instead, they include a steel case for a game that's not included in the edition. It just, especially when it's on all the promotional stuff, it seems like they put it there to trick people who don't read the small print into buying the collector's edition, because why would you include a steel case for a game that someone's going to have to go and buy somewhere else? That already comes with a case, or in most cases will be digital. People are going to be buying this box thinking they're getting the collector's edition game in the steel case, and they're going to open it up and find no game. And now the helmet looks okay, I suppose, not really worth, well, they look better in the promotional images than they always do in the actual releases. And ever since Fallout 76 debacle with the mouldy helmets that cause poison and then probably death, I'm not about to stick my head in any gaming merchandise anymore. So what else is it to talk about for this collector's cache? Well, look at the steel case's art. It's just a helmet. It's a generic, uninspired helmet looking sideways. How many times have we seen that in gaming now? Side profile of a helmet, side profile of a face. Side profile of a gun, side profile of a greedy EA hand gripping money. It's incredibly just uninspired. But you think, they're cutting costs, just draw a generic helmet or even take a photograph of a helmet, put it sideways. But then it was released earlier that Game Informer have had 3 covers made from, I don't know if it's actually BioWare who made them or if it was someone working at Game Informer or whatever. But if you look at those, it's like a splash art of all 3 games, and it's all done in like really good art and it looks really good. It's like, wouldn't that be perfect for a collector's edition, like an actual collector's edition? You can imagine that on the steel case, it would look really good. But instead you get sideways helmet. So once again, it's like nothing has changed. EA is still pumping money into the advertising, making it all special for the advertisers and game journalists and stuff like that, and then just giving the actual customer the bare minimum. How can you get the side profile helmet steel case and the Game Informer covers get this amazing art? So basically, when it comes to merchandise and to do the games, EA has not changed one bit. It's exactly the same as it always is. It's trash. It's trash that costs you $150. And they're charging you again for a game that's been out over 10 years and it's been sold multiple times in multiple collector's editions. So what is it to actually pull people in if not for the collector's edition? Well, that's when it comes to the actual game itself. The visuals and the textures have been overhauled, but I'm pretty sure it's been done by an AI, I think I heard. I think they went in and just tweaked some things, but in general, it's an AI that's been going through, changing the textures, changing the environmental lighting, and adding more lens flares than you've seen in any J.J. Abrams film ever. Can we thank J.J. Abrams for not only ruining movies, but ruining games now as well? Not every game needs lens flare, it just hides the new textures and lighting. It just gets in your face. That's what a lens flare is. It's a flare of light on your lens. You don't want that. It's not artistic, it's just in your way. So how are the visuals themselves? Well, there's a lot of good new textures from what I can see from the advertising that they've sent out. Some of the lighting is fixed. While some shots look improved, like there's a shot of Thane and the textures are a lot better, but you can hardly see it behind. Again, the generic giant lens flare. But yeah, there's also another shot of the Mako, because everyone loves the Mako. Nobody loves the Mako, nobody. And the lighting has completely changed. It fits more like the scene as you imagined, and again, lens flares. But it looks a lot better. The UI as well looks a lot better for Mass Effect 1. Okay, they've switched out all that 2001 graphics, and now they've got a little digital Mako in the corner that looks nice. All these little touches that look quite nice, but there is problems. Because for every shot that looks good, There's one that looks like it came out of Source Filmmaker. There's a shot of like Saren holding up Shepard, and it looks like something out of a Source Filmmaker porn. Wait, can I say that? Source Filmmaker entertainment specifically designed for adults with no clothes on. And it just looks really bad. Really, really freaking bad. And that's the problem. It seems like they've set the AI to go through the whole game. They've probably run through it to make sure that the systems work and everything. But no one seems to have gone in and touched up and fixed problems that really need a human perspective, a bit of human creativity behind it. And that's what this feels like. It feels dead. It feels like there's no creativity behind it. It's just another generic cash grab from EA. And I heard that the art team, some of the art team has been slightly involved or a bit involved, I'm not sure how much, but it just seems like they're concentrating on making it look as graphically modern as possible and completely forgetting that there's a creative angle behind all this. There's creative camera angles, creative lighting, and an AI can't replicate that. Saying that brings me to the screenshot which made me want to record this video in the first place, because I'm not exactly much of a video person. And that's the screenshot of Sovereign, spoilers, the big, spoilers for a 10-year-old game, I guess, the big fish squid thing, I'm choking my own words, the big Cthulhu monster made of metal that flies in space. The big bad guy, when it's coming down Eden Prime, completely different colour palette and everything. Yes, it looks graphically better, but visually it's way inferior, because it's not telling the story that the original one was. Even if it's a graphics problem, it was still telling more of a story. With the red sky and the lightning coming down, it was to say that this isn't a normal mission, that Shepard's going into hell, that this is something that's coming, for the universe, the galaxy is changing. This is the next level. And that's what it was, that's what it represents. But then they just completely wipe it out. And now it's a nice sunny sky. Yeah, it's a very beautiful sandbox for an old game, but it has none of the visual impact that the original had. Now it's just like, again, it's generic. Everything looks generic. It looks, if all you're looking for in the Mass Effect New Edition is some better textures, some universal lighting, and a lot of lens flares, then you're probably going to enjoy this. I'm sure there's some technical aspects that are improved, but I like stories, I like visual storytelling, and I like that kind of thing, and it seems inferior. But again, it depends what you're after. I'm going to play it anyway. I'm going to give it a shot, because it's been a long time since I played the game. It's just easier to buy them all in this one package with a bit of upgraded textures, and maybe that's what they're going for. Maybe that's what they're after. But it just really bugs me that it changes, because that's how a lot of these games are changing now. They're just going for complete graphical, fidelity or whatever. And it's like they're choosing to leave creative decisions on the sidelines as a secondary thought compared to how graphically amazing they can make it, compared to how creatively amazing they can make it. Those are my thoughts and feelings on it in general. I'll be picking it up, I guess. Depends how well it runs. It might run complete garbage yet. But I definitely won't be picking up any collector's editions. I definitely won't be spending any more than I have to on it. And I definitely won't be sticking my head in any helmets sold by a game company anymore unless I want mold on my face.
I should go.